Hey everybody, John Fenn, Church Without Walls International, CWOWI.org. Hope you'll visit our website. We are a house church network. We take turns hosting when possible. We take turns leading. So it's not all about one person, but we do that so that we rotate the same way they did in the early church. And because you've got a core group of people who are used to hosting and leading, when you outgrow a house, you just multiply out and you continue that. And so that's how we multiply out. Visit our website, sign up for my weekly thoughts, my newsletter. That's where we put prophetic words, anything, also as far as conferences, online meetings, things of that nature. So visit that, cwowi.org. All right. Part 4 today, talking about visitations and things I've learned from the Lord and from angelic visitation, etc., after they've had a message for me. So start right in. During a visitation with the Lord, we were in the Spirit in the living room, and he was seated on the sofa, and I was seated on the other sofa. They were put in a shape like this, with him on one side and me about halfway on this side, and I was sitting sideways looking at him. If you'd come in the natural, you would have just seen me sitting sideways on the sofa. But my eyes, when this happens, my eyes are open both in the natural realm and the spiritual realm. When I'm in the spirit, it's like I can see both realms at the same time. And he sat down and he put his hand on the arm of the sofa, and there was a stack of magazines, nature magazines, and on there, and he took the edge of the top one and he just went like this with his thumb, and I knew that he was taking in all that information, just reading that. And then he kind of looked down, there was a pause there, and I said, finally, I broke the silence. I said, Lord, does this offend you? Because all those magazines were nature magazines and of course from evolutionary bent, but it's a monthly magazine. You can learn things. And there are other things there that were, just informational type stuff. And he looked up at me and he said, it's not whether it offends me or not. It's that there's no life in these pages. I want to teach you about holiness. Now, I do have a series on what the Lord taught me about holiness. That was the start of it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just saying that it went on from there. But that line right there to share with you, that it has no life in these pages, that it helped me first off drop those subscriptions, and we haven't seen or had one of those magazines in our home ever since. But it helped me balance between knowing what's going on and being aware of my surroundings and being wise in that, and also looking for life and spending my time in life. When he said there's no life in these pages, it was just boom, it helped me discern that. And this goes on with something that happened years later. It had been a time since I'd heard the Father commenting on any news and everything, because oftentimes, I'll hear a news headline and I'll say, Father, what do you think? I encourage you to do the same. Just, you hear a news headline or something like that and you're going like, Father, what's going on? What do you think? And sometimes he'll comment on it, and it had been a while. And I had gotten into the habit, unfortunately, of watching a news channel every single night. I mean, religiously, I'd gotten into this habit of just turning the TV on and just fixed to that channel on news and everything. So, and I noticed that I had not heard from the Father for a while. And so one day I said, Father, I said, it's been a while since you've commented on any news or anything. I'll ask you what your opinion is. And there's just silence. And he spoke back and he said, you get all your news from Fox. Why should I talk to you? And it's like, oh man, I repent. And so I've repented ever since. It's maintaining that focus there. Fox, for all my international friends, Fox is a US based news agency, a conservative based news agency. And their evening shows are from a conservative viewpoint. And so I quickly stopped recording them, etc., stopped focusing on them. And once again, while I stayed informed, and to this day stay informed and investigate things on my own, I have that balance that I want first and foremost, I want the Father's commentary or the Lord's commentary on news events. So that was pretty that was pretty interesting and straightened me around there. To share now, switching subjects completely, there was a couple at a church where I was on staff, and most often the husband would be called out by a visiting minister, guest teacher, something like that, and he'd be called, stand up. This couple stand up, and the minister would say a prophetic word to the husband, and once in a while to the wife, but especially the husband, and it was generally the idea that they're going to do great and mighty things, in the Lord, and et cetera, and their call and their purpose in life. And right then they were professionals. They're raising a kid, two children. They were raising kids, whatever the case is. There was just like not that season of life where they're going to be freed up to take short-term trips or anything. So anyway, in the course of time, things happened in their marriage. They ended up divorced and moving out of state. So during a visitation, I asked the Lord, I said, so what about this couple? I said, Isaiah 55 says that your word does not return to you without accomplishing that which it was sent out to do. It doesn't return to you void. And yet here's this couple that had, especially him, had these words over him, and now they're divorced, out of state. How's this all going to come to pass? And he looked at me and he said this, if you can receive it, some words of prophecy won't be fulfilled until the next age. And I looked at him and I said, I need chapter and verse on that. And he said, there are many prophecies in the Old Testament that speak of the next age, leaping over the church age now. So why is it so hard for you to believe that a prophecy spoken for someone now wouldn't be fulfilled in the next age? And I was thinking about Isaiah 65, Isaiah 11, different prophecies like that talk about the lion laying down with the lamb, about a child playing by the den of a poisonous snake's, or playing by the den of a poisonous snake, etc., and nothing will hurt or anything. The lion will eat straw like an ox, all that. And that's in Isaiah in the Old Testament. And it leaps over this current time frame of the time of the Gentiles that we're in and talks about a future time. So that was very telling. That was it gave me relief, because here's why. You run across people all the time who say, I was called of God at an early age and then life happened along the way. And I feel like I've failed God. And it helped me realize, put it in the Father's perspective, in the Lord Jesus' perspective, that some prophecies that were spoken to you in this age won't be fulfilled until the next. That they take the long term, they take the big view. They realize we're already in eternity. We're already living forever. We're going to have a glorified body in the next age and everything, but the words that they speak to you, they will come to pass. It may be 200 years, 500 years, whatever. They would not have spoken the word over you unless it was going to come to pass. So the fact that we got distracted for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years on this earth and feel like you failed God, it will come to pass. The lesson I learned is that heaven is larger on the inside than it is on the outside. And that because Jesus likened the kingdom of heaven to a seed. So you think about an apple seed, a wheat seed, barley seed, whatever seed you want. How many apples are in that one seed? How many apple trees are in one apple seed? Mustard seed, whatever you want to use. And so we're larger on the inside than our outer life reflects. There are hobbies and gifts and talents and calls on your life and things you want to explore that you don't have the time, the money, the age to do now. But you are larger on the inside than your life reflects on the outside. But in the ages to come, that will all come out. Everything He's put in us, all the creativity, all the giftings will come out. So when the Lord taught me that some prophecies will not be fulfilled in this age, but for the next, and the precedent are the numerous Old Testament scriptures that talk about the next age. Just amazing, the peace and the grace there to realize, hey, I'm already in eternity, and if it doesn't get done in this life, don't worry. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, 500 years from now, it'll happen. So anyway, just an amazing thing. I don't even know where to start there. I don't want to involve anything, but let me just explain this. If I could use my son Brian as an example, Brian was after high school and went to a ministry school before getting his degree at the University of Oklahoma. But at the time, it was a ministry school, and they were going to spend a month in a West African nation, and it was very dangerous. And in fact, they had the people at the school had said, we're going into dangerous situations. I mean, you could potentially be martyred. So just set your hearts to do that. Of course, that was very upsetting for the parents, for Barb and I in particular. And because of my position and knowing some of the leadership there, Barb was encouraging me to talk to the leadership there about, just where are they taking these kids during this intern program. And I said, let's just pray, let's just wait, and let's just see. And so we agreed to do that. Well, I was out just after that discussion, I was out mowing the lawn, sitting on my lawnmower, my tractor actually, mowing the lawn. And suddenly my angel came swooping down in front. And he was just going at the same pace of my lawnmower, which is like walking speed, but he's facing me as we're moving along. And he said this, he said, he said, your son, he said, I've just come, and he mentioned that African nation. He said, I've just come from there. And he said, your son and all the others will be safe on this trip. And I said, well, how do I know? And he said, I told you I just came from there. Everything is prepared. However, your son has asked the father to be tested on this trip. I just went in my mind, going like, why did you ask to be tested? And he said, and the father has granted that he be tested in two areas, in strife and sickness, but everything will be okay. And anyway, so as it turned out, that's exactly what happened. They spent a month there, and there was strife and sickness, but they all recovered and everything, and it was a good learning experience. But it was what the reason for sharing that is to see that sometimes we do things, and then here's my son who's young and strong and everything else. It's like, I want to be challenged. This is what they want. And the father will grant that. And we're sitting back as parents going, why is this happening? It's like, well, maybe there are things between the father and their heart that we're not aware of. And here I was given just this one little glimpse inside of that interaction between the father and my son. And my son at that time, he's 19 or whatever, and he's young and strong and everything, and challenged me. I want to be challenged. So the father let him have it, exactly what he wanted. And so, but it all came to pass, and he and his wife were both in that program, and they're both on staff with us today. So, just to give you insights into things there's so much more I could share. And I've, in these 4 times I've shared some of this, but it gives you some insight into, especially that last one with children, that the father's in charge, and you ask for protection, you ask for guidance and everything, and he's faithful. And so hope that's been a blessing to you. It's a wide variety today, talking about some of these things. Find life, focus on life, look for heaven's commentary, if you will. Just ask the Father, just say, hey, Father, what do you think about this? And what's going on here? And there'll be revelation and things going on the inside of you. You may not always hear directly, but you'll have oftentimes revelation or peace or something about insight, or other things will be brought across your path so that you'll get insight in little news sources and stuff like that. So anyway, I could go on and on, but I won't. I'm going to stop here. So blessings to you. Thank you for visiting our website, cwowi.org. Also want to mention, as I have the previous ones that I did a little bit ago, I did an interview on the YouTube channel Deep Believer, almost 2 hours, mostly about my visit to heaven and things I saw in heaven, and the last 20 minutes or so about house church and stuff like that. So anyway, hope you'll do that as well. Sign up for my weekly thoughts, and hope to see you on some of our Zoom meetings or our conferences and things. We've got some more things coming up this year. So blessings to you. Bye-bye.